Hi, everybody. It's Natasha Bailey from Soul Mission. So, today's topic is all about star seed relationship attachment styles, how we communicate with each other in healthy or maybe less healthy ways. And to join me in this discussion, I have a very special guest here with me today, Marko Pesic. Hello, Marko.
Hi, you were practicing your Serbian pronunciation.
Absolutely. So, for everybody who doesn't know who Marco is, I'd love to introduce you to him. Marco is one of the 52nd oldest souls in this universe. He first incarnated as the first patriarch of Andromeda. Now he's one of 365 multiverse gatekeepers. He has a master's in psychology, working as an integrative psychotherapist and alchemist. Marco also likes learning new languages, traveling, and collecting crystals.
Yeah,
So, for people who don't know, what is a multi-universe gatekeeper?
multiverse
Yeah,
keepers.
multiverse keeper.
Yeah, so there are different layers of universe of multiverse. No matter how you call it, the space and within the consciousness of God is unlimited, because the consciousness of God is unlimited, and there are certain portals in between densities, dimensions, and universes where are very old souls seated, and they're taking care of balance. So why do we have 365 days in a year? It's probably because there are 365 multiverse keepers.
Each day of the year.
Yeah.
Amazing. Amazing. Well, I'm super excited to have this conversation with you because in our last video, we talked a lot about how a lot of people in the spiritual community are getting emotionally triggered and reacting to one another, and we concluded that we're all collectively going through what you call another shiny black phase of personal development.
Yeah.
So, for the benefit of my viewers who don't know what the shiny black, red, or white phase is, can you just explain what that means and why it's important to do that work now?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So what was happening is this um, energetical context is everything but not stable. So as you said, people are getting emotionally triggered. People are getting into schizophrenic mindset where they're like um, thinking that everybody is attacking them. Everybody's thinking like, oh, like everybody have some evil plans against me and stuff like that. People are getting divorced after 32 years of marriage. I've
Wow.
seen that in my close environment. People are getting really bad breakups. Long-term friends and businesses are collapsing. That's how it is. That's just simply energetical context. So in that context, using your energy work and work with informations is less useful. So we have to get back to our basics. We have to get back to strengthening our character, to um, nourishing discipline we have with creativity, of course. So when I say shiny black phase, it's not just about the psychotherapy, even though it's a great tool for us to let go of traumas, let go of emotional attachments, let go of irrational beliefs we might have. And the more we work on our shiny black phase, the more stable we are in a crisis times, such as this. So yeah,
So when you
also
say stable foundations, you mean more sort of emotional body, mental thought patterns, physical well-being?
exactly. So cognitive behavioral therapy, and on all cognitive therapies, Gestalt therapy, Sedona method, like all these techniques, concrete techniques and technologies that can help you be emotionally and energetically clear while everything is scrambling around, you know. And also what can help is strengthening character. So everything that can help you strengthen your discipline and still keep you creative is really good. Like many activities such as art, uh, expressing yourself through some modality, or martial arts to keep your body strong and your mind determined and keep yourself disciplined, is also very good. So all that can be shiny black face, you know. Everything that is humble pie, as you said, is a shiny black face. So there are three phases in alchemy for our viewers.
Hmm.
Shiny black, as previously mentioned. Shiny white is the energy work and expanding your essence or your soul, is
Yeah.
mostly soul work. And shiny red phase, it is work with spirit and with informations. And in a later of shiny red phases is work with the consciousness itself and working with the Holy Spirit. So those are three roughly phases in alchemy. There are seven: calcination, dissolution, and separation. They are shiny black phase. So um, what is happening is letting go of your ego, working with your shadow. So um, turning your internal metal into a gold. Yeah, it is possible to turn, I don't know, PBM or iron into gold, but it's way more expensive. The process itself is way more expensive than going into a gold shop and buying actual gold.
Yeah.
Yeah, I asked chemists. So I think all those metaphors, such as I don't know, city of love, or philosopher's stone, or turning metal into gold, all those metaphors are actually for internal process of great inner work that alchemy actually is.
So if we're looking at someone who's feeling emotionally distressed or triggered during this time,
Mhm.
um, uh, one could say that they have an opportunity to transform, take those inner triggers, to look at them, examine, explore, feel, and transform them into something more helpful, more useful, that could give them some insight into their situation.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, no matter how advanced you are, you really need to be humble. And if you're not humble, the situation, you know, the universe itself will show you, the life will show you that you need to get back to basics. So
Mm.
uh, you know, during these three phases, three sub phases: calcination, dissolution, and separation, we are dealing with our ego. So we always need to
Would you
stay
say
humble.
unhealed ego, though?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Because there are some, would you not say there are some useful ego aspects? So, for example, allowing divine will to come through the more healthy ego aspects.
Yeah, exactly. But why the shiny black phase is so important is because um, we kind of know, we intuitively know what is healthy ego and what is unhealthy ego. So yeah, in shiny white phase, there are subphases also, um, conjunction or integration and fermentations or refining. And then we have the two last subphases, distillation and coagulation, which is a grandmaster degree. Um, so all of these 7 subphases are very important, but most important and most necessary is black phase, shiny black phase,
Mm-hmm.
with its 3 subphases, because um, no matter how old soul is, uh, it shiny black phase can be applied.
Yeah,
Um,
because
if we are interested for shiny white or shiny red phase, that just shows our soul density, or the age of our soul. But we still need to get back to shiny black phase.
yeah, so the most obvious question to ask now would be, if you haven't completed your black shiny phase,
Mhm.
or you have to go back into your shiny black phase and do that personal development, but you don't, you ignore it, and you try to go for the next levels without that
Mhm.
grounding foundation, what are the likely things that people might experience if they don't ground or go through their shiny black phase?
Oh yeah, well, we kind of see what's happening.
Yeah.
So people accusing others without any um, without any kind of even attempt to explain. So they're just shooting accusations. They are losing critical thinking. They're not able to calm down their mind. So their mind or their ego is kind of taking control over them, you know. And because of projection and reflection mechanism that I explained in my YouTube channel, Help Consciousness Rise, um, because of those mechanisms of projection and reflection, people are blaming others, other things, and other people for their instability. So they're projecting their insecure patterns to other people and situations. And we saw that. From the other hand, it's good because in crisis situation, people show their real face. So when the final separation happens, um, then we can know on what person we can sort of rely on and trust. And that's happening in relationships, in business, in many other aspects.
Absolutely. And I've also had some experience of, people accusing me of things, in many different contexts without checking facts, not just within my kind of personal circles, but beyond that.
Mm-hmm.
And, people going a bit crazy on social media, accusing, me and the people I work with of mistreating, her very badly. Um, so it seems like there's a overemphasis on being in the mental body at the moment.
Yeah.
And, as someone who works with divine feminine healing, I'm very, very into dropping the energy down into the body, really grounding properly, connecting to Mother Earth, and also being in touch with one's feelings and dropping into the heart, because the heart knows the truth of the matter. If the madness or the illusion is here, and we start to drop it down and take it through all those energy centers, then each point might give us a lesson. I, having done past life channeling, at different points, the past life would have an experience of
Mm.
in the heart. well, I just want to attach to something or someone in order to feed off their energy so I can feel okay. And then as we go down to the lower energy centers, we realize, you know what, I cannot control anything. You know, I can only surrender. I can only acknowledge my feelings of vulnerability, of what it might mean to stand in my own power and take on my own responsibility for my life, rather than
Oh,
expecting others to
yeah.
project an image of me that I can tolerate.
Yeah, that's a big one. Taking responsibility for your life. You know, um, I don't think that people, including star seeds, and some of them ex-star seeds, are taking responsibility enough for their life. Um, by blaming others, you will not do much. Um, so yeah, maybe if you if you were attacked by someone, just guys, please don't put too much oil into a fire. You know, the fire will be even bigger. So just pull back and get out of that pattern. You know, you're with your consciousness, you're bigger than that. um, so what's happening is, because of those mechanisms of reflection, um, and projection, a lot of things are happening that we are not aware of. So just for the sake of this interview to be more interactive, I would like to give one exercise from Sedona Method Releasing. Sorry, and that's really good thing to just start looking at our yard, you know, to clear our own yard, and maybe one day we can say to our neighbor, hey, your yard is dirty. You might pick your stuff and reorganize your yard. So um, yeah, just think about what goes to your nerves, what drives you absolutely mad, what drives you absolutely crazy. And just while you allow your mind to review all the scenes you may see, some pictures, hear some sounds, some feelings and internal dialogues may arise, and just allow yourself to be with it. And ask yourself, are you that? Or are you doing that on what you're accusing others?
Yeah, it's you know, if you're accusing someone of I don't know, being an idiot or being too smothering, then in what way, you know, are we ourselves being, you know, an idiot or smothering? It takes one to know one. If you are accusing someone of something, then you have to recognize it within yourself in order to
Exactly,
project it onto others.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
you cannot see, like an innocent child can't see the evil in people, because in the heart of innocent child there is no evil
yeah.
things. So child cannot accuse anyone. Just think about that. That's great. And then when you ask yourself, are you, let's say, idiot, or just stupid, or just for what you're accusing people, any label, just could you welcome that? Ask yourself, could you welcome that side of yours,
Mm,
that your belief, your feeling about that? Yeah, just, I know it's counterintuitive, but just welcome that.
mm,
And just could you set that free, just for now? And this thing, when I say just for now, it's not a trick, because the truth is the only thing you can do something is now.
mm.
So let's do a couple more time this. So just think about the thing that goes to your nerves. It
Okay.
can be other person trait, or it can be this situation. It can
Can
be
I use
anything.
a real life example? Something happened to
Yeah,
me about 10 years ago. Okay.
sure.
So I had a relationship, and my boyfriend, I perceived him as very smothering and trying to fix me. I was at
Mhm.
a early stage of my healing journey, and I felt overwhelmed by his attempt to smother me. That's how it felt.
Mm. Okay, so now ask yourself, are you trying to smother someone or fix someone in that point?
Actually, yes, one of my subsequent boyfriends told me, Natasha, thank you for ending our relationship. Because I felt a bit smothered by you, and I'm glad I took the time out to be myself because
Hmm.
I didn't have your smothering energy over me.
Yeah, exactly. So could you now welcome all those tendencies, behaviors, emotions, patterns?
Yes,
That can be energetic pattern as well.
yes,
And just could you set it free the best way you can?
yes.
Yeah, you see, like you will feel actually in your body something is changing. You know, like you will feel like you don't have like 80 pounds on your back just, you know. So there is this is from Sedona method. So the questions are, what goes to your nerves or what drives you crazy? Ask yourself, are you that? And welcome that. uh, what you have, those tendencies that you see in other, project in other people, and then ask yourself, could you set it free? Could you just drop it?
Mm.
So it's extremely effective. I know it's not pleasant, but yeah, do it. Just I spent 3 weeks every day, like asking myself 10 times this every day. And after that, like my life changed, and outlook on people, my life changed for 180 degrees. Like you couldn't believe what can bring in your life, guys. So
Amazing.
this Sedona method process is, yeah, that. So maybe some theoretical explanation is in theory of field in Gestalt psychotherapy. So every individual has field of interaction. So what is field? So field is our relations that we have to one another, and also how we interact with each other. So uh, on what are based our interactions, so our field will be. And the energy work is kind of confirming that. So if you are looking for your second half, if you're looking for someone to cover you, to make you whole, you will never find anyone, because you as a soul have the masculine and feminine inside. You have animus and anima. So we have yin and yang. We have our tasks in our soul, but also the solutions for those tasks, or I like to call challenges. So divine already gave us, obscured us with all resources that we need. We need just to tap into it. So uh, don't look for supplement. Don't look for someone who will make you whole. Make yourself whole, and then when you find another whole person, your relationship will be healthy. So now we can tap into a conversation maybe about attachment styles you mentioned before.
Yeah, I would have to say that that phrase from the film Jerry Maguire, where Tom Cruise at the end comes into the room and says to Renee Zellweger, I think her name is, he says, "You complete me," probably did more harm than any other romantic film out there, just to give people the idea that, you know, you're only complete when you're in a relationship with someone else, or you're only complete when someone is there for you or loves you or needs you. And it's so easy, like you say, to fall into a situation where we end up being dependent on each other for certain
Exactly.
things. Could be characteristics. Like I had a boyfriend who was incredibly good at business, and I was still learning about how to be in business. And I was like, wow, this is incredible. Like
Mm,
I see in him something that I myself am missing.
lack. Yeah.
Yeah, a lack. So I thought, okay, maybe, and of course this is all happening on an unconscious level, you know. So on a level, I kind of piggybacked on his business energy to try and boost myself up, when actually, you know, what would have been healthier would maybe be to do what I'm doing right now. I am learning how to run my business. I'm doing sales courses, marketing courses, and I'm learning what I need to learn instead of parasitizing off somebody else's energy. And this is where I think where we come into the realms of attachment. What's healthy attachment and what's unhealthy attachment? So what would you say was is a healthy attachment?
Well, there is no, like, the word attachment is like
Mm,
in my ears too much.
mhm.
I am not sure there are healthy attachments. So if you're attached to someone, that means that you lack, as you said, and that you are kind of wants to catch someone and hold and don't want to let go.
It's kind
That's
of like
attachment.
it's kind of like a grasping energy. It's like
Yeah.
like one of those leeches that attach to people,
Yes.
suck their blood. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. However, I do want to ask this question. Instead of using the word attachment, do you believe that there can be a healthy connection, for example, between mother and baby, where the mother
Connection.
is providing a light body template for the baby as it grows? Is that
Yeah, I
possible?
mean, relationship, just yeah, just healthy connection that is based on God principles. So what is the source? Just look at characteristics of the source of divine creator. It is initial, omnipotent, omnipresent, unlimited, fulfilling force that inner penetrates all things. God doesn't need to attach to anyone or anything, but God interpenetrates everyone and everything. So if you want to live by divine laws, you need to be as closer as you can to it. So there are, if we talk about attachments, even in mainstream psychology, they're recognizing those unhealthy patterns. We are talking about avoidant, anxious, or preoccupied, and kind of disorganized pattern. So, and usually those opposite patterns are attracting each other. For example, anxious would always attract avoidant.
Yeah.
So instead of that philosophy or way of living, oh, you're fulfilling me. Now I will leech on you to suck your blood or energy or
Yeah.
money or whatever, time, whatever. You just need to work on yourself and fulfill yourself. When you are whole, you will have healthy relationship. If not, you are doomed, and you will repeat those processes, the same pattern over and over. I usually say uh, I usually say that the girls are same, but just their faces change.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, for example, working on my own, I did reflection work. I became conscious of my projections. You know, I became conscious of my lacks. I became conscious how is my anima. You know, I became conscious of my mother patterns. And yeah, it was not pleasant. It was like a long-term work, but you still need to get into relationships so you can get feedback from the material, outer world. So like after, let's say, 2017, I got some relationships that are like short term, but I kind of got feedback. Okay, it got better. You know, you moved from the dead spot, so now you know what you can work on. So yeah,
But
I also.
that's a great example where people could actually use the opportunity. Let's say they get feedback which isn't great, but
Mm,
nonetheless the person is open and might say, oh, I noticed that you seem to want to decide and control how everything is going right now, and I'm
mm,
just like wondering, what that's about. And as you said, you touched upon like mother patterns
mm,
and all these attachment styles. So a lot of these attachment styles come from just programming that we've learned from a young age, and how we related to our mother, our father.
mm,
And it's just becoming aware of them, not judging them, because as a child we're in a completely different state of brainwave state. We're just sponges. We don't critically filter, is this a useful program for me to have or not? It just happens automatically, and not to judge it, but be curious about it. And say, oh, okay, oops, I did it again. There's that pattern. I wonder
yeah,
what's going on here. And if you have an open partner, to be able to ask, oh, when did that happen? And just share, well, I felt worried when you didn't phone me to say you were coming home for dinner. And I thought that you had forgotten about our arrangement, and that means you don't love me. And therefore, I started phoning you every 5 minutes on the telephone to ask you, where are you? Why are you not picking up? Hello, hello, pick up. So I
uh,
got into an anxious frame of mind, because somewhere inside of me, I believed that you had abandoned me in the same way that maybe my father had abandoned me.
mm. Yeah,
So,
very good example. Yeah, yeah. It can also be, from previous lifetimes. It can all of that.
yeah,
Like some DNA sequences that are not healthy. That all can change. But first and foremost, you pick up on the pattern, be aware of it, derive beliefs from it, and if they are limited, change it. How you change your beliefs. Well, you need to dispute it. you know is this useful? How I'm gonna make my ideal relationship if I keep my these patterns? Most obvious question. You don't need to even know cognitive behavioral therapy or anything. But yeah, for the for the technical things you still can study a bit, but yeah, just don't go into deep into it. If you're not professional, just see for yourself. Just learn concrete technical things you can apply quickly.
yeah.
um, yeah, so think about on what you base your relationship.
Mm.
What is the base of relationship? If you're currently in relationship, ask yourself, Does she or he has something that I don't and that I liked really? Uh, so do I need to work on it? You know, what really bothered me, what really kind of um, stick my eyes when I saw that person, you know. So what can be positive and negative about that? And if you discover that you're with that person because of safety or because of previous limited patterns or because of um, yeah, of this attachment avoidant anxious disorganized patterns,
Mhm.
if it is based on lack, just work on yourself. And if you think that will save your relationship, you're wrong. Because the God and the consciousness itself, the life itself, will show you it. You will have the feedbacks. I say the circumstances are usually signs on our road. So once you go up and maybe overgrow your partner spiritually and psychologically and yeah, essentially, yeah, you will stop vibrating, you will not be in same resonance, and you will split. So that's what is happening. The energies are extremely polarizing, as we spoke. So just think that it is for higher good. Yeah, always ask yourself, um,
Yeah, I
and
wanted to
you
ask
know
you that question. Like, what could be
yeah,
the question that people could ask themselves to check, the real reason why they're in a relationship? What could be some good questions that people could ask themselves now in this interview, who might be wondering, oh, am I in a healthy relationship? What could they ask themselves?
yeah. So do I lack something?
Mm,
So this person is fulfilling that my lack,
mhm.
or I'm already fulfilled, but this person is kind of leeching my energy.
Yeah,
But
so
I am
that's
I
a very
am with
important
that
point.
person because I feel sorry for that person.
Yeah,
That
there
might
could
be
be
it.
many reasons. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Definitely for me, I tend to feel my energy body, and
Mm.
if it's a healthy relationship, there's a calmness, peace, and openness. But if there's some kind of irritation or negative pattern, I feel the contracted energy or some kind of resistance
Clash.
energy. So check in with your body. Do you feel open? Breathing. Or do you feel like, oh, either defensive, contracted, or like you're in some kind of battle here, but you don't know what kind of
Yeah,
battle?
yeah. Check your muscles. You know, check what your muscles doing. Check direction of your feet while you're sitting with that person.
Hmm.
Check your breathing patterns. There are many exercises in Gestalt. For example, the first one and basic one is like ask yourself within you what I'm thinking right now, how do I feel right now, how do I breathe, and do I want to avoid something?
Hmm.
When you ask yourself those questions like 10 times per day, you will be aware of many things, and most of the patterns, just by being conscious, you have a power to change it, and thus they dissolve. But some deeper patterns, they demand the deeper work. Yeah, Natasha is working with those, I work with those. There are a bunch of professionals out there who can help you.
Absolutely. And I wanted to ask you, in your experience, these
Mhm.
questions that you've recommended that people ask themselves are really excellent. And what I've noticed as well, especially with the question like, how do I feel? I'm noticing that people in general and a lot of star seeds are very much in their mental body and may not be used to feeling their senses, feeling their body, feeling the emotions in motion,
Yeah,
and are very disconnected and disassociated from their body. For them, this might be a big challenge, a big step to try and identify like how they're feeling. For those
yeah.
people who might be on that earlier stage of their journey, like I couldn't even identify how I felt in the beginning. But for the people earlier on, what have been some useful things to help people reconnect back to their feeling body, so at least they can start to acknowledge some of those unconscious feelings or triggers that might be coming up?
Oh yeah, great question. I mean, those four questions that I already mentioned. What do I think? How do I feel? How do I breathe? And what do I want to avoid in this moment? Are very good. Ask yourself every hour or every time you're sitting across some person and looking the person in the eyes. You
Mm.
will be aware of the contact, of the energy. The other things that might be good for you, that if to build coping mechanisms, those are strategies to address those issues. um, it's so sad looking at those star seeds who are so advanced. you know they can channel, in stable situations, they can heal, they can channel amazing work of art, amazing information. uh, it's so creative, it's so intelligent, it's so divine, but they still lost their connection to their body, and they didn't work on their shadows. So they're floating up there, but but yet they didn't do
Yeah.
basics. And then when these times come, their foundations just crumble because they're very tiny, and they build a huge building on those foundations. So even, let's say, average people, they do need shiny black phase.
Yeah.
And star seeds, they even more need shiny black phase.
Yeah.
Everyone needs shiny black phase in this
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah, the famous, occultist Dion Fortune said that until we deal with the material, with matter, the movement upwards cannot begin properly.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, so yeah, coping mechanisms. A lot of people might have coping mechanisms that are less healthy. They might become defensive, or they might try to make excuses for themselves
Mhm.
or their behavior. I think I mentioned a couple
Yeah.
last time. People were using astrology as an excuse for like crossing boundaries. Yeah. To
Yeah.
avoid taking responsibility. Um, yeah.
Yeah.
So where do we want to see all of us heading? Like, if
Mm.
we were heading in the direction that we want to, what kind of world do we want to create where we have healthy, open, honest conversations with one another, where we give feedback to each other and where we can help each other to grow, not from a judgment place, but from a,
Mhm.
oh, let's look and be curious at what's going on right here, right now between us. Where would you love to see us heading?
Well, I would like to see us heading uh, uh, the closer position to eagle estate as it gets, because the route to all evil and root to all insecure patterns is ego, or small me, little me. I am starting here and finishing where my when my feet toes are ending, and that's just little me, you know, my body mind. You're not your body mind, you're your soul and spirit given by the source. We are divine, unlimited, initial, omnipotent, omnipresent intelligence that is within us. So if you're looking for some role models now, you will not find it until you don't connect to your divinity within you, because that divinity interpenetrates all of us. So uh, be the change you want to see in the world. So if you don't see that healthy, pure, uh, energetic pattern, or just just presence within celebrities, or someone who you expect to be role models, become it yourself, you know. uh, I felt personally, Natasha, that this guy who was my mentor in university, he was actually a journalist,
Mm.
and he was very old, wise gypsy man, you know, and uh, he told me just I was always, you know, when I come to his office, and I was always whining on someone, you know, I was always blaming someone else, you know, and he was always, okay, you think he's not good enough. I was like, well, yeah, how I can become good enough if my professor is not good enough? Well, my boy, that then you become the role model for yourself. You become, why don't you become that man? You know? And consequently, a few days after, a few people told me the same message.
Wow.
Something or someone just, you know, wanted to hear that. So my reality shifted when I saw, when I really got it, that message that you want to be a role model to yourself, become the change you want to see in outer world. And then about judging yourself and others, I have the anecdote. So the same man, and he was asking me about this guy, and I was like, oh yeah, I know, it's this stupid 40-year-old man, and he didn't finish the medicine studies. He didn't became doctor, like he's 40 plus, and he's looking at me like this, and he made like this with his goggles. Are you finished your university? No, I didn't, but I like, you know, I just have a 3 exams more. Okay, come on, boy, get those 3 exams, and then you might tell to him in the 4 eyes in person, you can say, critique to him, you know, I don't think that studying medicine for 20 years will help you. Just sit and study and get over with it. You know, you see me, I finished university. Then you can say, you know, he says this phrase, look at your yard first, and then you can critique others in a solitude. That's the best way. So you always check yourself, not get crazy and arrogant and schizophrenic. You know, the times are very, very unstable. So first you check yourself, and second, uh, in the outer world, I want you guys to know nobody's authority is untouchable. No matter how big he seems in the eyes of others, in the eyes of yourself, in your mind, if something is not right, it's not right. So you have a right to question it.
Yeah.
So nobody's authority is untouchable. And I always says that to my clients and my students. You know, like 9-year-old boy, he's doing math task, and he's like, 20? And I was like, no, delete it. And he's looking at me. He knows he's right, but he don't want to say. And I was like, you know, it's right. But he's like, but you told me to delete it. I was
Ah,
like, yes. And if you're right, you can say, teacher, I'm sorry, but I think I might be right. Let's check
mhm.
again. Let's
Yes,
check together.
yes. I
So
love
I'm from
this.
early age, I'm
Yeah,
teaching, I'm teaching them to question, you know, even though my math level is here and their math level is there.
yeah.
Like, I can mistake and nobody's authority is untouchable.
I
So you
love
can
that.
always question.
I love that because
Yeah.
it really challenges this underlying belief that seems to be running in this world, that everybody's looking for a savior to save us from ourselves, when
Mm.
actually this time right now, forget about the aliens coming to save you, forget about the ascended masters coming to send you, forget about the angels coming to send you. You are your savior. We are the ones who are going to save ourselves by being the role model that what we want to see in the world. And like
Exactly.
I said
And
earlier,
forget about Donald Trump.
yeah, forget about whoever you think has got all the answers,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
all the answers are within
Yeah.
you. And I think here we're coming to the crux of it. All our discussions in the past hour about not falling into the trap of trying to find someone who's going to complete you. And the
Mm.
essence is we need to just recognize we're already complete by connecting to our God source divinity, our God spark within. That is the key. And this is
Yes.
why, you know, one of my missions that I'm doing in Soul Mission is to do that reconnection to people's God spark within, which they can get for free from my website. But it's about reconnecting to the fact that we're already whole, complete, and we can clean up this mess. We can create a new world. We just need to claim our power and say, right, let's get started. Let's build something new.
Oh yeah, I like it.
Amazing.
I like it.
Let's
Yeah.
let's start the Starseed Revolution. Let's start the Starseed Revolution. So, lovely Marco, we're coming to end now. And I would love to
Yeah.
hear what are your final words or your final suggestions to people as we approach this really chaotic climactic point right now?
Yeah. As I said, work on yourself. Nobody's a savior to yourself except you. You know, you can just rely in a holy Bible. It is written, you can rely on God within you, but not into the other people externally. So don't rely on Donald Trump. Of
Or
course, it will be
Q,
better.
or Anonymous, or any of these
Exactly.
organizations.
Exactly. You know, they will win. They will win when we, with our consciousness, win this other force. You know, no matter how we call them. So the one who has a stronger reality, he wins.
Mm.
So that's why we are clearing our internal world and then reflecting, not projecting our insecurities, but reflecting divinity that we already are.
Mm.
And that's, I think, Natasha, that's this um, that this uh, supreme thing that we are heading towards. And yeah, remember, nobody's authority is untouchable, and check yourself. Those are basic things. You can also check out my site, andromedianalchemy.com, and my YouTube channel, Help Consciousness Rise. And yeah, you can find very useful tips and very useful applicable techniques that will help you in your journey.
Amazing as always. Thank you so much, Marco, for your time and your energy. I am so looking forward to the next phase that we're all entering. I'm sending you so much love and wishing you all a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye for now.
Bye.